The Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts has a new art exhibit called Beyond the F1 Circuit, Artistry and Speed with Williams Racing. It's on view through September 22nd. The exhibit is sponsored by Stephens Inc., the official investment banking partner of Williams Racing. The exhibition explores the interplay of form and function through the lens of high-performance auto design at Williams Racing, one of Formula One's most iconic teams. The exhibit features an exact replica of a Williams racing car in a driver race suit and a helmet. It's the first exhibition of its kind in the region. I sat down on location with Warren Stephens and his 3 children, Miles, Laura, and John, to learn more about Stephens' connection to the F1 circuit and how this art exhibition came to fruition. Well, first of all, thank you all for being here in the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts for this exhibit that's got your name on it here. Warren, I want to begin with you and just let's talk first about the fact that all 3 of your kids are here and with you. That doesn't happen very often, does it? Except holidays, maybe.
We've made it a point to try to get together, but it's always a treat when we're all together in the same place. Now that really doesn't happen all that much, but you know, it's great when it does happen.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit, and anybody can kind of step forward first in terms of what is it like being part of a car racing team like this? I mean, what's the benefit for Stephens in something like this?
Well, I did not realize how big a sport F1 was in terms of its fans worldwide. I think it's 1.5 billion or maybe more, and I was frankly surprised at that. And we certainly are have a low profile, I think, as a firm, but we don't want to be too low profile. And we do have offices in London and Frankfurt, and of course around the United States we have 25 offices. So when the opportunity came up, which really came from them, through them, you know, when you looked at it, it's pretty impressive to see what F1 has done worldwide with its brand.
Yep.
And I will say for this exhibit, F1 fans are kind of coming out of the woodwork around here that are.
Did you know there was as many as there were?
I did not.
So how did this F1 relationship originate? Who wants to be the one to tell me about that?
Well, I started watching Formula One during COVID. I think a lot of people got hooked on it through Drive to Survive, which was the show on Netflix, and I was one of those people. And really started following it back in 2020, 2021. And John, through his day-to-day, he calls on family offices, and he was calling on Doralton, who now owns Williams. It was owned by the Williams family for decades, and then Doralton bought it within the past 5-10 years. And so John made the connection with Doralton about F1 and about my interest in it, and just set up a phone call, and we got on the phone and started talking, and it pretty quickly turned to a conversation about sponsorship. So that was the genesis of it.
Did you get the rest of your brother and sister, are they now big fans of watching the show as well that you were hooked on in COVID? So
yes, yeah, I mean, we've all become fans of the sport. Miles was the original, and I would just add, in addition to the show, he read about the history of the league and the sport itself and the founders, and kind of brought us all along on that journey a little bit. And so when this opportunity came, and they call it it's a sponsorship, but they call it a partnership that the Williams team does, and it was just a fun and exciting thing to bring back sort of to the family, knowing that Miles was probably going to get very excited about it. And then also we look at where we're trying to expand, and London and Frankfurt are kind of growth areas for us. And so that the F1 is, you know, historically very popular in Europe, and Williams in particular in the UK. So it matched kind of our growth trajectory as well.
I've never been to an F1 race before. I would imagine all of you have been to an F1 race.
I have not.
You have not? All right.
I have not.
What's it like? What's an F1 race like?
I've never seen anything like it. It's really exciting, and we actually, the three of us, with our spouses and then other family members, went to Montreal last year, and Williams placed, and it was so fun. Netflix was filming. We were in the garage, and it was incredible.
Yeah. Super fast. Do you ever like fear for your life if you're, wherever you're sitting or standing? Because I mean, these cars go like 240, 250 miles per hour. Is that right?
I think like 200 to 210.
Okay.
On the straightaway.
I exaggerated a little bit. Sorry about that.
It looks like they're going that fast. But, they have it set up to where it's pretty well contained and safe, but it is amazing seeing them in person, and it's a pretty amazing level of speed, and the speed they can carry through the turns is amazing as well.
But has anybody ridden in an F1 car before?
No.
Yeah.
Don't you think that should be a perk of sponsorship, of a partnership somehow?
I don't know if we could control it.
I was looking at the wheel, and when I'm watching a race and I see these guys, I don't know what they're doing on that with the wheel. They're changing gears, and they're doing all of that. There's no way I could do that. I couldn't do that.
Whose idea was it to pull this art exhibit together? Because this car is a work of art. I mean, it really is just the style of it and the evolution of how these cars have come about. Whose idea was to say, there's a big art museum in Arkansas, we should bring in an exhibit like this?
Well, as part of our sponsorship, I think we get to, we have the opportunity to do certain things like this. And it really came through our marketing team, and started with Curtis Jeffries. And I, maybe he said, what do you think about, when we opened AMFA, and it's been such a great success. And of course, it's a work of art in its own right. But I think Curtis said, what would you think about if we could bring a F1 replica to the museum? And I said, well, I think that'd be cool, but I don't know how frankly the museum would think about that. So I called Victoria to see how she would, in the museum, would think about having a replica of an F1 car here at AMFA. And she was very enthusiastic and said, oh, what a great idea. And so different. And then the teams just started working to find the time to get it here, and the logistics of getting it here, and the logistics of getting it in the building, and all that sort of stuff. So it's exciting to bring it to Arkansas.
Nerve-wracking if you have heard the story of how they got the car in the building here, because
I've seen the video.
Building, and you don't want to break anything when you're bringing this thing in, and you don't want to break the car too. Mm-hmm. What do you hope visitors will get from this exhibit? What do you guys hope that this will kind of open up people's eyes in terms of art, in terms of F1 racing, in terms of Stephen's involvement in not only the museum but also the sport?
Well, I think one thing we all hope happens here is that new people come to the museum to see the car, but then they maybe poke around upstairs and see some art that they might not have otherwise seen, and that maybe will open up or start a relationship with the museum more in general and more regular down the line. Maybe they'll bring their kids here, a couple times a year, and vice versa. The people who would be coming here anyway will get to see a car and think about how something that they might not associate with art actually could be considered a piece of art, and maybe should be. So
yeah, I think to add on to that, it's the first exhibition of its kind in the region, and I think that we just feel really fortunate that we're able to bring it to Arkansas and show the people of Central Arkansas something different.
That's Warren Stevens of Stevens Inc. and his three children, Miles, Laura, and John, all of whom helped bring the exhibit to the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. Remember, it runs through September 22nd, so check it out while you can.